Good evening. Welcome into the Lake County Sports Scoop. I'm back in the studio. Taking a week off. I was enjoying some warm weather out west in the southwest. Can't beat that weather out there. Very nice. But back in the studio, Rusty Silver here with you. And so is the other guy. Who, other guy? What other guy? There's another guy in the room. Oh, my goodness. It's Dom Pavel. Dom, welcome back. Welcome to April here.
Hey, Rusty, welcome. It's not a good day today, but...
Wait, the sun's out.
Well, it's been kind of...
Now, wait a second. If you wait 5 minutes, it'll change.
Yeah, right.
Because in the time that you walked in the building, there were snowflakes coming down, cloudy skies, and it looked like
I bring the
winter.
Heat, so, hopefully I warmed it up.
It's not going to happen that way. Look at the radar. There's snowflakes. And can you believe our high school teams are actually out and about playing in weather like this?
It makes you a man. There you
go. It makes you a man. Yeah. Do you like to stand out in cold weather? Come on.
I wasn't a big fan of playing in it, but I went to high school in Georgia, so it wasn't in the 40s.
Now I will agree with this statement. When you're moving around, you generate heat, so you feel warmer out there. That's true. Because I've done some reffing last week. Got knocked out of one game last week out of 4 matches I did, or 5 matches. But I'll say this: when you're moving around, you feel a lot warmer.
Mm-hmm.
And I had 5 layers of clothes on too, but along with the hat and the gloves to keep my hands warm and my ears warm too. But I felt like my nose was cold as well out there. But I know that tale of running around, it does make you feel warmer. But there is a certain limit too, because if the temperature gets, I'm trying to remember what the ruling was. I know the heat rule is 85 or more depending on the bulb temperature. But when it's cold weather, I think if it's 32 degrees or less on the actual temperature, needs to have a cancellation. But I don't think it's the wind chill at 32. I think it's the actual temperature. And it's chilly out there. I mean, it's middle 30s. They're playing ball. And I know Libertyville and Stevenson are playing baseball today. I was trying to get one of the coaches on, but they said they're going to play this afternoon. They'd have one of the best fields in the county. Both of the schools have, take care of the baseball fields. And by the way, Libertyville right now is 10-0. If you can believe it or not. They had a great spring break when they went out to Arizona.
Right.
One of the best times I've seen them have going out there. I usually stop over and say hi to Matt Thompson, but they're playing good baseball. And I was trying to get one of those coaches in here today, Nick Scala from Stevenson. I tried to reach out to him, but hey, we're playing baseball. Don't have really the time, but I will come on in the near future. So, but I will say this, playing spring sports in Northeast Illinois, it's not good. I've said this before in other shows. We don't get spring until May 1st, courtesy of that lake over there. And you just don't see good weather. Maybe you get winds out of the west, southwest. You warm it up for a couple of days, but it's tough. The weather doesn't start warming up until May 1st consistently, where you see days in the 50s and 60s. And it looks like, my fingers are crossed when I say this, it looks like we're going to see warmer weather by the end of this week and starting next week, where temperature will be consistently in the 50s, 60s, and maybe 70s. I hope.
Yeah.
And then again, as I say that, it'll change on us very fast. But we hope there's good weather. I know like soccer teams get a chance to play on turf, most in Lake County, because I think there's 16 out of 20 schools play on turf these days. There are more baseball teams getting turf out there on their infields. I haven't had a count, but I think it's up to a few now that have put turf out there.
It's less maintenance.
Yeah, of course.
You got to put in a lot of work. I mean, as a lot of people are, why is so much turf? And I was a big proponent of turf before, but now lately, not so much. But for baseball,
or even softball for that matter.
Yeah, and softball.
I know
too.
Vernon Hills has a turf for both. And it's nice because if you're trying to, softball's played mostly on a dirt infield.
Yeah.
And I know there's a couple teams. I know Wakanda has snuck over to the Dome in Rosemont. They played Marengo last week.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, they lost that game. I think it was 16-6. But they have certain rules in that dome. If you hit the top of the dome, down the lines, it's like a ground rule double, something like that.
Yeah.
But what a great place to play indoors in a dome, in a climate-controlled facility. That's outstanding that you can do that.
A lot of schools are starting to venture towards getting the turf for the baseball fields, where you just, because the infield, then you don't have to maintain. It's so difficult to maintain it with the dirt and everything, and cutting the grass, and then have to cut the outfield. This way, if you have the turf infield, then you just have to cut the grass, and that's in the outfield. That's not hard at all.
Now, like some other sports like lacrosse, they go on the football fields like soccer, so that's okay there. Tennis, you can get out there. The boys get out there and play. They're moving around, but you just hope that the surface is on the dry side, that you don't get rain or anything else on there. Some other sports, I'm trying to think that you're playing in the spring. Of course, boys volleyball's inside. You don't have to worry about their goals. Badminton's inside. Track is a tough one. That's a tough one.
Yeah, a couple track.
Now, here's the thing: they just finished the indoor track championships. I know Lake Zurich was our best team involved in that on the boys' side, but the tough part about boys' track is trying to get the athletes to stay warm, stretch out thoroughly, because if you get cold days like this, you could really cause issues if you don't stretch out enough and you pull hamstrings, groin injuries, and you could be done for a good month. Or more. So, I hate it in a way in Northeast Illinois, up north, that track seasons don't get the good lay of the land, because downstate and further south, they get warmer weather before we do. You don't have to worry about the lake.
Oh, no,
and then you get better track athletes downstate.
It's 70 degrees now in Georgia.
Oh, but I'm just saying downstate Illinois, which is, think about warmer. It. Think of it down Springfield South, Joliet South. You get warmer days down there. Even Springfield South, they've had a lot of rain recently, and a lot of flooding, but still their temperature's a lot warmer than here. It could be 30s and 40s here, but it could be 50, 60, 70 degrees downstate.
Yeah.
It's a big difference. And you can get outside and after your school day and have good track days compared to what we're having up here.
Yeah, Springfield right now is like almost 10 degrees warmer than it is here. So it's obviously closer you get, but they still got a freeze warning tonight.
But then we're going to start seeing.
But it gets up in the 60s and 70s this week. Down
the weekend, yeah.
Well, yeah, but in Springfield it is. So
but it's still that way. But you
still got to play. You got to play in the elements. You got to play what God gives you. And it's I guess it's in the 40 degrees. You got some flurries or whatever. Put the hurry.
Don't say that word. You just put chills down my back.
Well, the cold weather for soccer players, it doesn't really bother them. It's actually, they're running nonstop, so they're going to stay warm. Baseball is tougher because the only person that's really staying warm is the pitcher and catcher. Through because they're the one constantly moving every day. The other fielders like one or two steps left or right, depending on the pitch, for every pitch and being ready. It's tough, but you gotta live through it. So you're gonna do it in college. You want to play in college. You play in high school. Yes, you're probably about 70 or 80% of the players are looking to play in college, and you got the other 15 to 20% that are just playing just to play in high school and know that you're just gonna go to college and have fun, which is nothing wrong with that either. But so you got to, the whole point is that you got to, take it serious and you got to play and compete. And that's that biggest thing for me in high school sports.
All right, you mentioned soccer in there, and I'm a big soccer guy, and I think soccer is very competitive, very challenging, like any other sport that we have that we talk about here in Lake County. And there are good soccer teams, and we've had longevity when it comes to some soccer coaches that have been around. I mean, I can throw out Adam DeCalloway, who's been at Grays Lake Central for 20 years. Hugo Tulez, who's been around. Yeah. I think he's been around for a long time down the street at Round Lake. He's done a great job on the boys' side. He's taken over the girls' side this spring.
Oh, awesome.
I want to bring up another guy by the name of Kevin Colby, who's been around ever since Lakes has opened. And he's done a great job, too. He's got, I think it's over 300 victories on the boys' side. And he eclipsed the 200 win mark just this last week. And I've been waiting for this because he had a chance
at the end of
last spring to do it. Couldn't get it done in the sectional. He also had a chance a couple of weeks ago, right before the break. And guess what? The game got, should we say, weathered out. So he finally got his opportunity to get the win last week in a game against Richmond Burton, which his team went out to win 6-0. And yes, I caught up with Kevin Colby because he got that win number 200. I think it was a good idea to have this interview. Now with the head soccer coach over at Lakes High School. And this guy is flying very high after last week because he hit win 200 on the girls' side. He's been the head coach on the boys' side for a number of years, but he's gone past that stage. But a big congratulations goes out to Kevin Colby for hitting number 200. How's that feel there, Kevin?
Well, thank you very much, Rusty. It's just you hope for more wins in any given year, and it's just great to finally gotten to that milestone with this program, and having been with it since its beginning. And we've had a couple of good seasons in the last couple of years, winning the conference, and so getting win 200 is, like I said, a milestone for the program and a milestone for the girls who were part of that achievement.
Now, I know it's all the girls. It's the players that do it for you. You're the coach, but you had to do some waiting to get number 200, not only at the end of last year, but at the start of this year too.
Well, yeah, I just think that it was unfortunate we didn't, win in that penalty kick contest. But to start off the season this year against Richmond Burton, the team was pretty emphatic in getting the goals necessary to secure the win, and that was a feel-good game for us. And we took a nice team picture after the game, and they posted it on the Lakes website, and so that was nice.
Mm-hmm. Kevin, you've been coaching a long time. I don't know what is it now, almost 20 years at Lakes?
20 years at Lakes, and probably I've been a coach for 40 plus years since I was in high school. So
what
coaching soccer?
What does it feel like? I mean, you've gone through all these victories, boys, girls side. You've seen the way the game has changed. But what does it feel like after all this time to reach a goal and then go through what you're going through?
Well, it's just for me, I think it's just something to acknowledge. But at the same time, we're really beginning this season, and there's a lot to play for. And so the 200 is just a benchmark, and it's just something in the background, for good things to come for this team. And that's kind of how I look at it. I don't think too much on it. It just shows a measure of longevity. But like with any coach, you're not really thinking about that stuff. It's about what you got to do next in the next game to prepare for the next game and give your players